Ladders are a construct built on expectations, pressure, and someone else's idea of success. At some point, we need to unscrew that bitch because we were never meant to climb ladders that were never made for us. This energy is asking us, are you following in your soul's truth or are you seeking applause? Are you someone who is essentially just wanting to be seen as successful without doing the work to follow your path? In this video, I'm going to get into it because I always do. My name is Canacia. I am a true sidereal astrologer. I am an astrology brand alchemist, multidisciplinary artist, and conscious visionary. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and stay a while. If you've been feeling a push out of old stories and narratives in relation to how you succeed, how you grow a business, how you start a business, there is one thing that I know for certain: following everybody else's plan will not work. Trust me, I have tried. I have placements that are literally made for me to not follow anyone else's blueprint. But at the same time, I love to learn and I love to understand what can potentially work for me. Not a single one of those things work. Okay? If this has also been your experience, ask yourself, whose path are you really on? Capricorn is an energy that relates to our legacy, our authority, our concept of success, our concept of career. Capricorn is about building stable foundations, not just quick fixes to success. This is, are you disciplined enough to really reach your goals? And in some ways, this can be a slow burning process with Saturn ruling time, responsibility, and discipline. As some people like to refer to Saturn as Daddy Saturn, Saturn is definitely going to be the authority over your life to make sure that you are staying in alignment. And when you're not, let me tell you, Saturn is a little savage, let's be honest. I personally have never heard my father yell, but the way that Saturn treats me in my birth chart, it feels like you knew what you were supposed to do and you didn't do it. So here are the consequences. And that shit's not fun all the time. But here we are. Capricorn is an energy that is opposite to Cancer. And between Cancer and Capricorn, it rules the masculine and the feminine, earth and water. What's interesting is how Capricorn relates to the masculine, and it is an earth sign, but the earth is actually feminine. When we're thinking about the masculine, sometimes, specifically with the patriarchy, it is often putting up these guidelines on how to be a man, on how to show up. And what tends to happen with Capricorn placements is repressed emotions, because to be a man, you can't be emotional. And that's a complete lie. We are all feeling your repressed anger, frustration, your emotions, and it's okay to cry, okay? Especially when you come and book a reading with me. If you cry, you get a discount. I'm just kidding. Maybe I'm not. Anyway, so where was I going with this? I always combine the patriarchy, capitalism, the government, and religion as two sides of the same coin. I know some people may not agree with that, but a lot of things within our government systems and patriarchal systems and colonization systems have quite literally been hiding behind the mask of, well, God said I could do it, and God told me to do it. And under the guise of God, a lot of distortion has been created where people are no longer on their path because the path, let's say the Bible, was man-made, created to suppress women, to put men on a pedestal, and to tell you how to lead your life. Whatever it looks like for you, I really want you to sit with what belief systems you are still holding on to that are holding you back from your path, your plan, your purpose. Because if I was to tie a Bible to anything, it's your birth chart. And every single person's birth chart looks different. even twins, because they weren't born the same second. And the planets are constantly moving. Therefore, we all get to evolve from the plan and the path that was constructed for us to follow. This current Capricorn energy is asking us to release what was inherited from our preachers, our teachers, our parents, our pastors, our government, the patriarchy, colonization, everything under the sun. People may say it's not that deep, but it is. And especially with the melanated community, we could be holding the Bible so high. And it's the thing that's actually keeping us away from our growth, our expansion, our ability to build a legacy that's actually ours. It's disconnected us from us as source, as God. God is not outside of any single one of us. And yet we have been programmed to believe that it's something that we need to achieve. You have to build your relationship with a sky daddy that's not there when it's here. It's all here. And there's definitely energy that is bigger than every single one of us. There is a false narrative that we have to work towards being loved. And we are loved because we exist. Period. There is a false concept that if we're productive, we'll be successful. And in some ways, for example, going back to the earth and Capricorn being an earth sign, earth moves through its emotions on its own. Our plants, the trees, the soil, everything is moving and shifting as it needs to move and shift and flow naturally without us having to do anything to it. But sometimes just leave it the fuck alone. If there's anything that we could do is stop cutting down the trees, stop polluting the air, stop forcing this earth to create weather patterns that aren't productive for us to thrive. It's time for us all, myself included, to deconstruct the false narrative around our worth and our worth being tied to how much we could produce, to our relationship with source, spirituality, our status in life, as well as our business. You're not just a business. You're a human being, or woman being, as I like to say. Tropical astrology in Aquarius, this energy also ties to how our collective unconscious is stuck and trapped in overthinking, overcorrecting, overanalyzing, and not necessarily doing it for the greater good of all. It's a very individualistic approach, and it's not allowing true authenticity either, because again, they're climbing a ladder that someone else built instead of actually honoring who they are because they desire status, the reward, being seen as someone with legacy. Even the concept of legacy is always interesting, specifically with men when I'm having this conversation, because I'm someone who, as you may know from other videos, have zero desire to have my own child. And I've had men reflect to me, oh, so you're one of those feminist women? And it's like, no, I don't believe in any of the isms because they're all a psyop. And also the way that melanated women connect to this idea and this desire to have equal rights is different from how white women desire to have equal rights, because their equal rights in some ways is just equal rights to men. Things like diversity and inclusion, white women are the ones that benefit from that. Black women are at the bottom of that list of people who actually benefit from diversity and inclusion. So, back to the legacy with men. In relation to not wanting to have a child, they always look at me, well, how dare you? You have this female body. Wouldn't you want to pass on your legacy? And it's such an earthly concept to me, Just because I may not have another earthly being, it doesn't mean that I won't be passing on my legacy. It's something that I find to be conceptually different from maybe a lot of other people. I do believe that our soul lives on when we leave this realm. We could think about an artist. I also like to have people think about a family member that has passed on. Whether you are looking at pictures or you're hearing a song or you're smelling food, all of those different experiences can remind us of that person. And sometimes we feel their energy in our body, which tells me their legacy continues to live on. It's just not in the physical form that we are used to experiencing in this specific realm. There's things that we cannot see that are right here. I probably have all of my guides here and I don't see them. My friend Noni may see them, but I don't see them, okay? I feel them. So when I think about this concept of legacy, we are sometimes putting ourselves in a box when it can be so much bigger than the box that we are, labeling it with. Your legacy is more than what you end up physically creating or birthing on this world. So much bigger than what we can conceptually understand. And I really want that to sink in because even as I'm saying it, it has always been something that feels more clear the more I mature, the more I step into my own leadership and purpose. Because while I may not desire to have a child, people who are watching this YouTube are part of my legacy. I didn't birth you, but I may have initiated you to do something different in your life. I may have initiated you to receive a message that you could share with somebody else. You may journal based on some of the things I may say in these videos. You may book a reading with me, therefore shifting timelines. And that to me is legacy. That is part of the legacy that I am here building. It's not with one physical being. Like, side story, I can't even think of myself going to a school pickup, fake smiling to other school moms because I have to, or I feel like I have to. Like, no, that just seems like too much for me. But anyway, I need to turn on some lights. Please hold. Much better. We are in Leo season, officially. And it is my birthday month. I am always feeling all of this energy around this time. And what's so important, while many people are seeking applause, we are absolutely still experiencing several other retrogrades, and we need to turn within to center ourselves, not center ourselves around the collective. The collective unconscious is stuck in the performance of progress. Real freedom comes when we have a grounded approach that helps us lead forward in our path and our purpose. And you could find this path specifically with your own birth chart. Saturn relating to Capricorn is still retrograde and conjunct Neptune in retrograde. So we need to find ways to expand our vision, but stay on task. And in some ways, this is a very slow process. Okay. There's no rushing through our healing. There is no rushing to get to the next level or even layer of self. There is no rush to go anywhere, honestly, even though it feels like it. When we feel as though we need to rush, that is society's programming. And that's something that we can initiate dismantling. Don't forget, we also have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. We are in a portal watching everything day by day. It feels like the world is crumbling. But what's crumbling are things that we probably don't desire anyway, but we're just so used to it being there that it feels like we are, being contracted or repressed from receiving things that we desire. But it's not true. It's not true. So this is a time for us to release some of these karmic cycles and patterns that, again, they're just existing within us because we've all agreed to these rules for so long. But the rules, now if we want to go to Aquarius, the rules can be broken. The rules need to be broken. We need to reclaim our power. The powers that are collapsing are not actually in power. That's why they are always projecting so much fear because they know that people are waking up. The Great Awakening is also tied to Aquarius. The more people who align with their authenticity, they also get to share and show other people that, hey, you get to do this too. This is not about dominating at all. It's really about us leading ourselves so that we could lead a better future for the kids that are being born right now. And woo-wee, honestly, I keep saying I really feel for these kids that are being born right now with 5 or 6 energies in retrograde. Gives me chills, y'all. It gives me chills. Whew. But for real, we have to stop having a hive-like mentality. We have to lead our own legacy. If you are someone ready to stop climbing the corporate ladder or the ladder your parents put in front of you or the ladder your pastor said you had to take in order to reach God, drop legacy in the comments to work with me. And for the rest of you, go ahead and drop your Capricorn placement and let me know which ladder you're dismantling. Let's do this inner work. You know what Nicki Minaj said? Step your cookies up, go get you a ladder. But you have to build your ladder. It's not in the store, it's in your birth chart. And when you're ready, I'll be here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe because I'm doing so much of this work all by myself. And I would really love your support. Y'all will see me in the next video. Bye.